Yeah, so the superintendent for the state of Oklahoma, he wrote or sponsored this legislation or supported this legislation that said that every school in Oklahoma, every public school needs to have a copy of the Bible in the school. And not already odd at first. And what does a math class need a copy of Bible in the school for? I don't know. And he also, when the bill came out, it said that these Bibles needed to include the Old and New Testament, as well as the Constitution, as well as the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. There's exactly one Bible that fits that description, and that's the Trump Bible that came out. And so, yeah, that's the folks we're dealing with right now. It's going to be a.
I've said this before, TJ, but it is insane to me that people will sit there and say that they're for the First Amendment,
right,
freedom of speech, and just be like, nah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because one thing Republicans won't do is attack that shit. Like on the left, we would fucking eat that kind of shit. I don't know what the equivalency would be.
I can't imagine.
If we like required, I don't even know. Like
there isn't one.
The fucking Communist Manifesto to be taught in schools. Like I don't fucking know, but like we would attack that. We'd be like, no, I actually don't think that should be mandatory reading in every elementary school. I don't know. Like I would stand against that. I haven't seen a single Republican politician be like, no, that is wrong. I haven't even seen Elon fucking Musk, who's Mr. Free speech guy, be like, hey, it's really fucking wrong that we are requiring the Bible to be taught as a religious text in schools. It just is kind of insane to me. That's why it's like just so disingenuous.
It is. And like this guy, well, I'll play the clip here. This is, I forget, I think his name is Ryan Walters. Watching that name be totally wrong, just way off. I just don't know. That's the name that comes to mind, but let me see.
I'm excited to announce today that Oklahoma is the first state to bring the Bible back to the classroom. Today, we purchased over 500 Bibles that will be in the AP government classrooms across the state. Bible just like this. We have the Bible, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. These are foundational documents in our nation's history. Our kids have to understand the role the Bible played in influencing American history. It's very clear that the radical left has driven the Bible out of the classroom, which leads to a lack of understanding of American history. We will not stop until we've brought the Bible back to every classroom in the state.
All right. So that's his very reasonable, very good.
That's also very interesting. I just want to point out they bought 500 Bibles.
Yeah.
Every classroom in the state. The math ain't math in here, bro.
Well, that would make sense because interestingly enough, Oklahoma ranks 49th in education in this great nation of ours. So maybe math ain't his strong point after all. I'm sure the Bible's going to take care of that for him.
Also, it's been a little while since I took AP Gov, but I definitely passed that test, and nowhere in it, in that core curriculum, did it say that the Bible is a foundational text for the U.S. government. That is just absurdly false. And it's insane. It's genuinely insane from the perspective of an educator that you would attach the Bible to an AP Gov class. Completely ahistorical and inaccurate.
Yeah, what they'll tell you, because I went to a Christian school, and so we did have like Bible taught in government class and everything, is that one thing they like to say, this comes from a guy named David Barton, who's this right-wing fascist historian, but he likes to say that the book of Deuteronomy is the most quoted text in the Constitution. Nonsense. I don't know. He just made it up out of nowhere. And they like to say that our laws are based on Christian principles. And it's really flimsy how they get away with this. Because the Bible says murder is wrong. So obviously our laws are based on Christian principle. I'd like someone to point in the Bible where God gave the people of Israel the right to vote. Please point that out to me. Please tell me where God said that. Please tell me where God said you are free to practice any religion you want. Because peruse the Old Testament sometime. If you practice the wrong religion, the punishment was death. If you picked up sticks on the wrong day, the punishment was death. If you ate shellfish or pork, the punishment was death. There's nothing similar to the laws of the Bible and the laws of the United States, even in 1789, unless you pick out a few certain ones. Like, oh, look, stealing was wrong. It's wrong here, too. That's as flimsy this all is.
It is kind of just... the religion in schools thing, it's one of those. I can talk to a lot of Republicans I can talk to you about free speech, I can talk to you about whatever. But if you're gonna fucking tell me that the Bible needs to be in schools, I don't think you're arguing good faith. There's just no reasoning for that at all that could ever be acceptable. I feel like a secular country is just a baseline thing we need to all agree on. And anyone who says otherwise is so disingenuous, because the only way that makes sense is if you discriminate against people based on their religion. That's by default, that is what it is doing. Because I hate to break it to you, there are people who aren't Christians in fucking Oklahoma. So why aren't there fucking religious texts in there too? And what about the atheists, who are most of them? Especially the children. All of the children are atheists.
Yeah.
They're fucking children. They don't have the capacity to believe in God. You know, like it's insanity.
So, and what's interesting, all right, what I'm going to clarify that where John and I are coming from is that John and I don't have a problem with teaching about the Bible in school.
Oh, no, I know. I learned a lot. I read a ton of the Bible in school.
You should.
Like, very academic.
Yes, there is a ton to learn. The Bible is like, I don't know, people like to say they don't take the Bible literally, but they take it seriously. The Bible is like one of the most influential documents in Western society, in the world, honestly. Like, you can't have a discussion about human beings and on planet Earth without talking about the Bible at some point. And that's fine. Talk about the fact that, yeah, this book was written X number of years ago. Here's the influence it had on culture and society and moving forward. Here's the influence it has on modern day life. But like, think about if you name, especially men, this works. If you name like 10 men, half of them are going to have names that come from the Bible. Like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Thomas, Philip, James, Stephen, like all the shit is from the Bible. That's fine. But
DJ, both your names from the Bible?
Neither. My name's from the Bible.
Really?
Neither.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony Jr. Tony Lee. Yeah. Neither is from the Bible. What's your middle name?
Andrew.
Oh, both your names are from the Bible. Look at that. Both of them. Yeah. So, the Bible is incredibly influential that way. But once you start saying that, okay, not only does this book have historical significance, that it has not as much as they pretend it does when they say that it actually crafted our government. Once you start saying, and this is real, and you need to follow it, and our nation will collapse if we don't rally around this as a symbol, that's when you run into a problem. Because like John said, this can only go one of two ways. And with this religious freedom thing, if your religious freedom to you means we can teach the Bible in school, fine. That means you have to teach every religion in school as equally valid. You have to do it. And like the Church of Satan does this a lot. Whenever people try to put like Christian iconography in public schools, they're like, well, you have to do Satanist iconography too. Here's our statue of Baphomet, put it in front of the school to show how absurd it is. That's one way you could do it. Or the school is secular. Those are the only two ways you can get around this without actually discriminating against people. And one's a hell of a lot more practical than the other.
Yeah. And Ben says that Ben is from the Bible too. That is true. So is Rachel. So there you go. The Free Will and Nomad says, hello, everyone. I haven't seen the Free Will and Nomad before, so welcome to our show. This is our Q&A show where we try and answer questions, but mostly get sidetracked. But if you have any questions for us, please let us know.
Free Will and Nomad, I saw him on a live I did last week. He is a Catholic. I know that much. And I told him that we prefer our nomads to be a little more uptight. You know, we can't let these nomads just run all over the place and do whatever they want. But
Free will and nomads.
I know, right? There's no fucking standards and rules with nomads these days.
No honor among nomads nowadays.
It is interesting looking at the Bible names because it's shocking how many of them come from Elizabeth's another name comes from the Bible, Mary, Martha, Joshua. Like Jesus' name, for those of you who don't know, Jesus' name in Aramaic would have been pronounced Yeshua. That's what his friends and family would have called him. Jesus is the Greek version of the name Yeshua, but the English version of Yeshua is Joshua. So like about a couple billion people around the world worship a guy named Josh Christ. That's what's going on right now, and I find that to be pretty funny. What isn't Nomad Guy's profile AI though? Yeah, it does seem AI, but there's no crime against that.
Yeah, that could be an AI image of him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it could just be an AI image. You think it's cool? It's a fucking profile picture. I don't
Yeah. He talked about his childhood growing up Catholic and how his Catholic church was really cool and chill, and he doesn't seem like an AI guy like saying ridiculous shit or whatever.